He's not worth it. You're the school board representing his family. And you just sided with your husband over him saying,
No,
don't let him have
what
time.
I said was, I mean, I did say that, but I didn't want it just, you're just talking
You
over
said
each other.
he and
Excuse me,
it's not worth it.
and now you're talking over me. This is what I don't want to happen. That's why I asked him to stop in the way I did. I mean, this is just the means.
You're not worth being up there.
Excuse me, that's fine, run against me, I'm good. And I mean, who even knows if I'll run again? My term's up next year. Go ahead, run against me.
I don't want to do it. You're far from qualified for it.
I can't hear you.
You don't look out for, you're looking out for you, is what you're doing.
You know what, that's an argument. That's,
No, it's not. It's proven fact right here. And 90% of the people that were in this room tonight would agree with me.
great. I'm glad you don't feel that way.
See, that's the attitude right there. It's hot. It's awful.
I'm sorry you
You're
hate
a
me.
disgrace for that school board.
I'm sorry you hate me.
Is it legal to say, I will try to help you? Is it legal to show that the people that are voting for the meeting that represent to help us? Is that illegal?
Right.
I don't know.
Okay.
You're our representation.
Madam Chair,
You guys are smart, do you know, is it legal to
although I
present
am
this?
not from
Can we just have one person talking in the room at a time, please?
But is it legal?
Please.
Proposal?
Please. Thank you, Skip, please.
Madam Chair, even though I am not from this town, I'm from a somewhat larger town in Guilford. I have been on my budget committee for almost 10 years, and I have crafted, because we are an SB2 town, which means we don't have the traditional town meeting. We have a deliberative session and then the ballot. I highly suggest that you folks and those that left at least consider doing that. Because a lot of what I hear tonight, and by the way, full disclosure, I have known the Underwoods for a number of years. He makes my head hurt when I read his stuff, because he's always coming at things from different directions. But after listening to everybody here, I am glad to see that the school board actually was listening to you. I come from Guilford. I'm in the process of suing my school board because they won't answer at all. They sit there like Easter Island stone-faced Moa statues. And that's a problem all over the state. As much as you may not like the three of them right now, you should at least be pleasantly surprised that you've got it better than I do, and probably 95% of the other districts out there. I understand what it's like. In an SB2 town, they would bring the budget to me. I would have to go through thousands of lines at the general ledger account level to decide, is this good or is this bad? Same thing with the town. Then we, the budget committee, would present that to all of you. At the deliberative session, you get the chance to examine it, you get the chance to ask questions, you get to get happy, you get to get angry. But then 30 days down the line, you then get to do a ballot vote. I think folks here in Croydon ought to think about doing that, because all of the problems that I've heard so far tonight would be solved. If you didn't like what happened at the town meeting, which would then be called a deliberative meeting, you could vote, secret ballot in the voting booth, and say, I don't like this, and I'm not going to let it pass. It may have gone through the deliberative session, but you then have a yes or no, and you get to vote all day long. You also get the chance to vote by absentee ballot. So there's no excuse not to vote.
That's a good idea.
I am also going to suggest, and again, I'll say the same thing for all these empty chairs. And the gentleman that was coming up looking for the can't-do folks to try to change their minds. You guys are under the gun. You have no choice left. I would highly suggest that you start working with the school board, put the animus aside, because otherwise, If you can't do that, if you can't help them prove that the budget is unworkable, they can't go to Superior Court. Now, if your school had a furnace breakdown, if a hole in the roof came upon you, same thing with the town, the fire engine stopped working, this went wrong, that went wrong, that escape hatch is to go to Superior Court and say, we have a problem that we didn't budget for. This is an act of God. The judge will take the case on an expedited basis. If you folks can help them go through each line by line by line and try in a friendly manner, or at least respectful manner, you might find out that no way can you make this budget work. Then you can go and ask them, hey, here's a petition. We want you to go to Superior Court. These folks are, I hate to say it, we're not well treated tonight, but they are the folks that can help save the school if you work with them and prove that the $800,000 budget can't work. I'm not saying that it can, I'm not saying that it can't, but they got 19 days and they cannot work on this outside of this room. It has to be a public meeting all the time. People have got to show up and get involved. Our founding fathers' vision was for an interested and involved citizenry that would vote their own interests. You all folks have your vested interest, your kids. I know what it's like. I raised 2 boys. Now I have to raise my grandson, and I've got issues with my school board. You folks have issues here.
Yeah.
Mine's a lot, I got news for you, mine's a lot worse than yours. Work with them, get some ideas, and either make it work, or, from what I've heard tonight, you don't want it to work. At least try that process, because otherwise you're stuck, because you won't be able to go to Superior Court. That's what you need to keep in mind. Superior Court or bust. Thank you for letting me say a few words.
Thank you for the comments.
I agree with Jolene voting. I think that's a great idea.
Go ahead.
To Beth's point, it took us 8 elections to get SB2. It's not easy. Most people want the traditional town meeting, but now that we've got it, voting has gone up. In every single kind of election, whether it's a midterm off year like right now, or a presidential, more people come out. Now, and I'm sorry, I forgot your name.
I don't know if I ever said it. I'm
Yeah,
saying.
that's fine.
You see how bad I am with names.
Okay, my name is Skip.
Skip, okay.
I know you and the other lady that just left were going and trying to convince the school board that it was incumbent upon them to tell you what was going on.
It just seems
I'm gonna-
really respectful, but.
And I'm going to respectfully say, you need to flip that. Town meetings, because my town was a town meeting style well before, always had groups of lots of voters that always knew what was going on. They didn't assume anything. Things would pass, things would go down. I was on the winning side, I was on the losing side. But there was organization going on all the time between who wanted what. Again, when I stood up here the first time, I said, democracy, the democratic style we run our republic, requires an involved and informed people. You cannot do this well unless you do know what's going on and actively find out. It takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. My wife looks at me like I'm nuts sometimes because I do. And sometimes I feel good, sometimes I feel bad, depending on the outcome. So I would say, instead of blaming the 3 of them, ask yourself, how can I get involved for the issues that are important to me well before that thing happens, like it did, I guess, a couple of days ago at your town meeting? Be proactive, not reactive. Okay, and this unsolicited advice is worth every penny you didn't pay for. But take that to heart and just think about that. Along, if, I don't know who the other lady was, but for everybody here, if you don't like it, you gotta do something about it.
I just think that everyone's had an element of trust that if something big was going to go down, that we would know about it.
It's on,
I think it
and what I'm telling
I think it
you,
works both ways.
what I'm telling you is that nobody is responsible to do that except for you yourself. It's not up to him or these people up here or this person or these folks over here. It's on you. That's how our system was created and designed.
And I will be continually paranoid for every meeting coming forward that I have no idea what's coming up because no one's going to tell me, so I'll show up.
Well, it's up to you to try to do that homework. Being paranoid can be a good thing. It really can be. I'm paranoid most of the time. Because I'm a political blogger. I run the largest political blog site here in New Hampshire. I'm inundated with stuff that goes on to the point where I go, I can't take it anymore. But you gotta do it because your votes and the results of those votes depend on you. Not them, it depends on you. And with that, I'll get off my soapbox. Thank you again, Madam Chair.
But once they're
Thank you. All right, I would like to set a time for the next meeting.
Crop TV.